Welcome to Res Indica Mind Maps. We are a repository of around 1000 mind maps which will make your UPSC journey a cakewalk. You can avail this amazing content from our app at a nominal fees of rupees 199 only. The link for which has been given in the description. You can also visit our Telegram channel in which you will get MCQs on a daily basis which will support you in your UPSC preparation. The link for the same has been given in the description below. Now let us talk about the matter at hand. Today we are going to discuss about the India-Japan or the Indo-Japan relationship. Why is this important? Because this form an important part of GS paper 2, part 2 of IR, and in IR, India and the neighborhood relationship. Why are we studying this? Because this year itself, India-Japan relations have completed 70 years of establishment of diplomatic relation. This started way back in 1952 and is continuing till date. Though not a very smooth path, but yes, a very stable path. Let us trace the timeline, which will make you appreciate the relationship which we have with Japan in the present times and what are the lacunas thereof, and also what are the solutions which India can take place or which India can take to solve the issues between these nations. Okay. First, in 1991, India faced the balance of payment crisis where we had only 14 days worth of import cover left, which means the dollar present with us was only sufficient for us to buy goods lasting for 14 days only. Okay. Now see. So Japan, what did Japan did? Japan bailed out India from that particular crisis. And from there on, the relationship has taken an upward trend. It has gone on to improve from global partnership to strategic partnership and to special strategic partnership. In 2017, India announced something by the name of Act East policy. This Act East policy is nothing but a improvement upon the Look East policy of Narasimha Rao. Okay. And also mooted the idea of open Indo-Pacific vision. Okay, now see, India-Japan relationship, they have many dimensions to it. That can be economic dimension, that can be defense-related dimension, cultural dimension, and the skill development dimension. First, let us see the economic dimensions. In 2011, India and Japan came into an agreement which is known as the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. Why? To boost the bilateral trade. Okay. Japan is one of the many nations which contribute a lot of FDI to India. And Japan's contribution to FDI is mainly in the sectors of pharmaceuticals, telecommunication, IT, and electronics. Also, India is the biggest donor to the infrastructural projects in India. And we all very well know that for any developing nation to prosper, they need to spend heavily on infrastructure. But also being a nation with scarce resources, we do need help of prosperous country, and Japan has come to our aid for this. Okay. Also with Australia, India has created something by the name of Supply Chain Resilience Initiative. So if someone asks you that which are the member countries of SCRI, answer will be India, Japan, and Australia. Okay. Now what is this SCRI? See over here. We all know that China has built a very strong manufacturing sector for itself. Agreed? Yes, of course. And it has monopolized the supply chain. It has monopolized the supply chain. But to counter China, many like-minded countries of Australia, Japan, and India, they have come together and they have created an alternative supply chain. Alternative supply chain. Why? So as to boost their manufacturing sector and to decrease the monopoly of China over the supply chains. Getting the point? Let us proceed forward. In the defense realm, India is one of the G4 nations which is striving for the permanent seat at United Nations Security Council. So what are the G4 members? They are Brazil, Germany, India, and Japan. Okay. So these are the four nations which want an expanded United Nations Security Council and want to include themselves. No need for me to tell you that as of now there are five permanent members of UNSC. Those are USA, UK, Russia, France, and China. Okay, getting the point. So therefore, India cooperates with Japan in the G4 forum itself. Why? Because both have same agenda to get themselves included in the UNSC permanent seat. India also engages in 2+2 dialogues where the foreign and the defense minister or foreign and defense counterparts of both the nations they interact. So in a way, what happens? Let me discuss Quad, then I will tell you. India has also created something by the name of Quad in the Indo-Pacific region. Again, the main goal of Quad is to counter China. Okay. So Quad altogether is a topic of discussion for some other day. But let me tell you, India, along with Japan, Australia, and US. These four nations have together come and made something by the name of Quad. And India is having 2+2 dialogues with all the other three members of the Quad, including Japan. So are you trying to appreciate that the kind of engagement India is having with Japan? See, India and Japan, they share same interest or similar interest when they want a permanent seat in at United Nations Security Council. So they are having some kind of engagement, some kind of understanding over there. Second is that they also have an interest to counter China, where they have created a separate institution or organization by the name of Quad. Okay. Now in the cultural realm, there is people to people contact have increased. Many reasons. First is the religious reason of Buddhism. India is the originator of Buddhism and people of Japan follow Buddhism. And first cultural agreement took place in 1957. In the skill development paradigm also, Japan has set up 12 institutes of manufacturing in India. Do remember these facts. This will act as value addition point whenever you argue about Indo-Japan relationship. What are the other modes of cooperation or other areas of cooperation between India and Japan? See, one is the nuclear energy. We all very well know that today every developing nation is facing the twin problem of developmental deficit and environmental concern. And it is really very difficult to create energy which is required for development through conventional or non-conventional sources such as sun, solar energy, wind energy. So nuclear energy becomes a panacea over there. Nuclear energy is required very much today by the developing nation. Why? Because first of all, it is a clean energy. Small amount of fuel can create large amount of energy. And the second, not only in the energy realm, but also for an independent foreign policy, for the deterrence effect also, we need nuclear energy. In 2017, an agreement was signed for the peaceful use of energy. Now, what does the phrase peaceful use means? Means that we are going to use the nuclear power only for the generation of electricity or for clean purposes, not for warfare. The correct meaning will be not for warfare. See, for energy security and clean energy. This is what it means. India claim for energy membership has increased. Now, what does this mean? See, in international relation, each and every concept is intertwined. You can't treat them to be in an isolated manner. Let me discuss. India has gained membership to the other organization or to the other nuclear organization such as India is a member of Wassenaar Agreement, Australia Group, MTCR. Okay, so why is this so? This improves India's credential to be a responsible nuclear power. A responsible nuclear power. But India is not a part of NSG, Nuclear Suppliers Group. When India becomes a part of NSG, it will be very easy for India to get uranium or the nuclear fuel at ease with ease. But NSG is a consensus based organization. Okay, consensus based organization. So what happens is that China is a member of NSG. Every time an idea is mooted to include India into NSG, China thwarts this attempt. Okay, but as India's claim for energy is improving day by day, we need Japan's support. And Japan is already supporting us. No issues with that. In the space domain also, how? In 2019, we had the first space dialogue with China, and ISRO, which is the Space Agency of India, and JAXA, which is the Space Agency of Japan. They have launched a joint lunar exploration mission. Okay. In 2018, what happened was that India-Japan digital partnership was signed, which talked about setting up of startup hubs. And we are very well known that today India is going through a startup boom. The entrepreneurship culture in India is increasing. We also have an emerging technologies fund, which caters to the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, which was set up in 2019. Now, everything is not very good over here. We also have some grayer areas. We also have some challenges. First challenge is that the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, or the SEPA, success has been limited. Why? Because the trade growth is marginal. Trade growth is marginal. See, we do have some amount of trade, but that is not growing. That has stagnated over a period of time. And due to this stagnation, what happens is that there is trade imbalance. Trade imbalance, why? Because see, Japan is exporting to us, or Japan's export have increased. And on the other hand, Japan has created barriers for us. So our imports are not increasing. So in a way, imports have decreased. Why? Imports to Japan have decreased and exports from Japan have increased, which creates a negative trade deficit for India. Getting the point? Also, there has been decreasing investment by Japan. The investment has not been up to the mark. There are also some differences with regard to many things. For example, Japan, which led the Osaka track. Now, what was Osaka track? See, basically, Japan with some like-minded nation um, signed Osaka track. And this was a plurilateral agreement, with respect to WTO. Some talks on trade, but India, what did that? India completely withdrew itself along with some like-minded nations such as Indonesia and South Africa. Why? Because India favors multilateralism and not plurilateralism. And this multilateralism is something which makes WTO different from World Bank and IMF. Because here we don't have equality of vote, or the concept of one country, one vote is not followed over here. But in WTO, one country, one vote is followed. This is a consensus-based organization. We need to respect that. And data standardization was the main issue. See, basically what happens that countries like Japan, USA, they are in the favor of cross-border data flow. But India abhors this idea as of now. We are in a way where India is also respecting the concern. We are also allowing the data to cross the borders, but we need to create some safeguards for that. Okay. And India is more in the favor of localization of data. See, changes are being made. Okay. Changes are being made. But yes, India does have some concerns, which is going to rectify itself in the coming future. The Asia-Africa Growth Corridor is also showing no concrete success. When it was mooted, it was a very big idea, but now I think the progress has stagnated over a period of time. What can be the way forward? First of all, the way forward is to increase cooperation and to remove trade anomalies. Now, what this means, remove trade anomalies means is that you don't need to create barriers. Neither should India create barriers, nor should Japan create barriers. They should let the economy work in an open manner, and the trade imbalance will automatically correct itself. Okay. The trust and the democratic values should be upholded, which should ensure global benefits. As of now, we can see that the major arrangement or the major agreement between India and Japan seems just to be countering China. This is negative in its aspect. What India needs to do is that along with this negative aspect of countering China, we also need to build positive trust-based issue, which will work for the development of both the nations. Okay, thank you very much.